Hey boys and girls. All right, so today we're doing 15.2. We're on page 313. Go ahead and take out your book so we can take our notes for our math today. It is session 2. We're going to dive right in. We're still multiplying a decimal by a whole number. Padma bought 3 pounds of grapes. Each pound of grapes cost $2.75. How much money did Padma spend on grapes? So the first way that we're going to do this is we're just going to use like a picture. All right, so if I've got $2.75 per pound and I've got 3 pounds, so I'm going to do 1 pound first. So let's say I've got, here's $1, here's $1, and then here's 25 cents, 25 cents, 25 cents, because 25 plus 25 plus 25 is 75. So $1, $1, looks like evil little lizard eyes. And then I've got 0.25, 0.25, and 0.25. All right, so that's 1 pound. But I need to make 3 pounds. So I'm going to make another row like that. Does not look the same. 0.25. Whoa. 0.25 and 0.25. So that's my quarter. And I'm going to do another round of it. So this is my second pound. Now I'm going to do my third pound. And I've got 1, 2, and then, since you all know that there's 25 cents in those, I'm not even going to write it in. Then you just add them all up. So I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 whole dollars. But I also know that I can make $1 out of 4 quarters. And we've got quarters here. So I could go, here's 4 right here. So that's plus another $1. And then here's 4 right here. So plus another $1. Plus I've got a 25 cents left over. So my answer is 6, 7, 8, 25. That would be one way to do it. Okay, another way to do that is to think about $2.75 in general. So $2.75 is really just 27 tenths plus 5 hundredths. And it's also, are you guys ready for this? This one's kind of hard. 275 hundredths. Because if I were just to say this right here, it would take 200 of them to fit into these total, and this would take 70. So I have 275 hundredths because I'm landing in the hundredths place value, technically. 207. Did I say that right? So 275 cents because I'm in my hundredths. So let's say I've got 275 cents. Technically, that's what $2.75 is 275 cents. And I'm going to multiply that by 3 because I need 3 pounds. So this would be typical multiplication. So I've got 3 times 5, which would give me 15, carry my 1. 7 times 3, which is 20, 21 plus 1 more is 22. And I carry my 2, so 3 times 2 is 6, 7, 8. So I've got 825 cents, which is equal to $8.25. Okay, that's 2 ways to do that one. Now, there's a different way for us to picture this as well. Let's say I've got 3 groups of 275. So this is one group, here's the next group, and here's the next group. This one's similar to what we did up here, except with just the charts here. So you would just count up, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you would have to add up all these and figure out what your answer is. That's one way to do it. using our grids. And another way to do it is partial products. So what they did here, it looks like they've got 275, and they're telling us that 3 times 5 is 15, which was 3 ones, this is the ones, times 500. That's 15 hundredths. Then they've got 3 times 7, or 3 times 70, because it's 3 ones and 7 tenths, and that's 21 tenths, or 2100, 210 hundredths. And here we've got 3 ones times 2 ones, which equals 6 ones, which really equals 6 hundredths. So they put the hundredths in this row because that's what we need to get to in order to add them all up together, which gives us 825 hundredths, which is equal to $8.25. All right, so if we're going to connect that, it asks us, it says, we're going to use these problems to answer these questions. So to solve the problem, you need to find 3 times 275. Estimate the total cost of grapes, explain your thinking. So one way for us to estimate, remember we're rounding in order to estimate. So one good estimate would be like 9. And I would get that because I've got 3 holes here and this is about $3. So I would have 3 times $3 equals $9. How many full grids can you make? So we got to look back at picture it. How many full grids? We can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it looks like we've got this one, and this one, and this one left over. So I'm going to count the tenths. I've got 7 tenths, 7 tenths, and 7 tenths. And that's 21 tenths, which means because we've got 21, that's 2 more holes that we can fill in, which means we have a total of 8 grids. And then how many would be partially shaded? It would be 25, because remember we've got that 0.25 that are left over. Then it says, look at the model it. How is multiplying with the decimal like multiplying with the whole number? So how is this similar? And I mean, honestly, the procedure is the same. We just need to decide where the decimal point is going to be at the end. So we're going to write that. The procedure is the same. We just have to figure out where decimal goes. The same thing. So we've got 825 hundredths. Now we landed in the hundredths, which means that the 5 has to be the hundredths. So that means we have 8.251. And that key is that hundredths here. And it's just telling you that the last number is going to be in the hundredths place. So you have to figure out where your decimal is at that point. So if we look at this, it says we got to use, both picture and model it show 3 times 2.75. Is this product reasonable? We know it ends up being 8.25. And it's asking us if it's reasonable because remember how we estimated up here? So we're going to say it is because the numbers are pretty close. Yes. Oops. Because the answer is close. Let's see. Close to my estimate. Right. Explain how to multiply a decimal in the hundredths by a whole number. So technically, we still multiply the regular way. Using the same procedure, same thing. But our answer is in 100ths. So we will have to move the decimal. Cross that off. And we're going to dive into apply it. All right. So we're going to use what we learned to solve the next couple problems. Are you ready? Ready? It says onions cost 65 cents per pound. Gross. Sasha bought 4 pounds of onions. How much did she pay for the onions? All right. So one way that we're going to do this is using our partial products. So I want you to write 0.65 times 4. All right, so I've got 4 times 5, and these are in the hundredths. So that would be 20 hundredths. All right, then I've got 4 times 60 hundredths, right? So that would be 240 hundredths. All right, that being said, what we do is we add that up, and that gives us 260 hundredths. And because it's in 260 hundredths, then what we do is we take our decimal and we move it over 2 because this is in the hundredths place value. So our answer ends up being $2.60. Do you have all that? Okay. The next one says Brian makes a row of 11 paper clips lined up end to end. Each paper clip is 2.48 centimeters long. How long is the row of paper clips? Show your work. All right, so it's saying that we've got an easy way for us to do this without doing 2.48 times 11. Now, 11 is pretty close to the number 10. I think you guys would agree. And when we multiply by 10, do you guys remember that trick? Are you ready? Are you ready? It's when you move that decimal over, because each place value is worth times 10 more. So if I have 2.48 times 10, I would get 24.8. Now, that would be 10 of the paper clips. What we would do to get the 11th paper clip is just add 2.48 to this. I'll put my 0 here, and I'm going to add that up. So I have 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a 2. Carry. Drop my decimal. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 2. And I have to put my label. And my label is centimeters. That's how long all the 11 paper clips would be if I put them in order. And the last one that we're going to do together today says, what is the product of 14 times 5.3? Now, how we're going to do this? Are you ready? We're going to have 14 pulls times 5.3. Okay, so now here is my trick of the trade. Are you ready, kiddos? This is the trick you want to know, trust me. See how this 3 is right here? And it is 1 jump away from being 53. I jumped that 1 so that I could have full numbers. So I want you to put a 1 up here because we're going to remember the jump worth 1. And then we're going to do the same procedure because technically this is just in tenths. So if I have 4 times 3, that gives me 12, and I carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. cross off the 3. I'm going to put the 0, and then I'm going to do this place value. So 5 times 4 is 20, so I put my 2 up here, and then 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 7. So I've got 42 and 700. I need to add those up, which is 742. Now, I just did this the regular old-fashioned way, but I held this one up here because what we have to do is we have to move the decimal back one jump because that's how many jumps we moved the one decimal before. So our answer is C. How do you do the C? Okay, done for today. I would try this a couple times in your notes. Make sure you have this in your notes, that you have to count how many times you jumped it in order to make it a whole number, in order to jump it back over here. All right, kiddos, that is all I have for you today.